As the corporate parts manager, primary function of my role would be inventory management. There's lots of different ways I can look at our inventory and how we stock. One of the tools that I do use is ProfilerPRO. There's a few key areas I use it, obviously when new equipment comes out and kind of at end of life of equipment. So when new equipment comes out, ProfilerPRO allows me to count models as they're added to different locations, or as we, increase the count overall. Often we start with 1 or 2 one year, the next year we can have 15, and I would maybe change my stocking parameters as those model counts increase. When I'm looking at, stocking parts for specific machines, or if I look at I can't think of a part off the top of my head, a knife that fits a header, I can use the wildcard feature in ProfilerPRO to see what all models that knife would fit. Obviously that's a fairly simple option, but there's different things that have multiple models. In CDK, I can only search one model at a time. ProfilerPRO, I have the option to be able to put an asterisk in to do kind of wildcard searching, or I can have multiple searches, meaning I can type in multiple key model numbers and count, the number of options or number of places I can sell that part versus just one specific model, how many different models it'll fit. The end-of-life sales history doesn't really work to stock parts necessarily. I would have less models out there, maybe get less hours, but they're still out there. So I can use ProfilerPRO to move some parts into stores where they still have that specific model, like CTS combines are still in our area, or I can see how many 8820s are still in operation. Some oddball parts, maybe not end of life, would be T670 combines or something that we have out of 1 or 2 locations but nowhere else. And one location I have 9 combines, I might be better to stock parts there versus a store who only has 1 of those combines and it has slower moving inventory of those parts, but I definitely still want to keep them in our trade area. So that'd be the major ways I use it would be, stocking sort of parts in the beginning of the cycle and at the end. Other than John Deere models, the other piece, often we talk about John Deere in this building, but short lines is another big area. Tillage equipment we don't often talk about, so counting those models for harrows that get added to the area, some of our grain carts, things like that we don't often think about. I still want to be able to count those models and see, how long they've been in service and if I should be stocking parts to keep them in the field, as they're just as important as the combine when it comes to harvesting.
Hello, I'm Roberta Falk. I'm the Director of Operations at Green Valley Equipment. My primary responsibility is the Parts and Service Department. I've been using ProfilerPRO quite a bit in my day-to-day work. I know it's a tool that was originally created for the sales department, but the uses I would use with ProfilerPRO is really to pull customer lists, understand equipment populations. For example, if we're running a stainless steel upgrade program for 1910 air carts, we might pull that customer list to understand what customers we have in our trade area. We also use it just to understand customers, to understand what fleet they own, how many acres they run, trying to understand, are they seeing early wear for the amount of acres they farm on maybe tillage tools or different types of equipment. So when it comes to generating customer lists, I find ProfilerPRO is the best tool. It provides a clean, simple list. You can easily narrow down to the equipment that you're looking for. So, for example, if I'm just interested in 1910 air carts, I can isolate that list and find a clean, simple list of that type of inventory. The nice thing I can then do with that is then I can assign it to the appropriate location, appropriate parts manager, and then they have a list that they can work through. So I always say, okay, if we're going to do a campaign, always do your pre-research in ProfilerPRO before you go out to those and do those customer calls. So one way that I'm using ProfilerPRO with my parts team, or trying to get my parts team to use it more, is to do their research before they go out on field visits. Pull a list of customers pull a targeted list of customers, do a little bit of background research on that farm, see what recent touch points have happened between them and the sales department, and then be better informed when you go out to do those customer visits. Moving forward, we see some really good customer segmentation tools that we can use with ProfilerPRO. For example, we do bulk oil delivery service to our customers, and that's one segment that we can now track in ProfilerPRO. we can pull a map of all of the locations of customers using on-site oil. We can start to map out delivery routes that make sense, and have a good simple way to pull a database each year to say, okay, who are our on-site oil customers? How much oil are they purchasing? Do we see that declining or increasing? Are there farms in the area that would make sense to target because we're already going out to those yard sites that are around them? So yes, lots of good future capabilities for ProfilerPRO too. We really like the fact that pictures are now in there. We see a lot of new staff through our parts department. They may have come from shipping receiving, they're new to the front counter. The ability to now see pictures of the key customers or the key decision makers at those farms is really important, because it's going to allow them to have better recognition when those customers walk in through the door. Sometimes you might have done a parts interaction with a customer, you think that you know the customer's name, they leave, and it's just a nice way to say, okay, let's put that name to this face so next time I know who that customer is. It just helps with the whole customer service and customer relationship side of our business. I like it. I use it all the time. It's very handy.